Good morning everyone, my name is Mason Deetman. I'm from Engine Protection Equipment here in Perth, Western Australia, and we're just doing a short video on Wyndham Page air intake valves, what they are, how they work and what their objective is. So an engine air intake valve in this instance is designed to protect the engine that is operating in a hazardous area. If an engine's in a hazardous area, it can potentially ingest hydrocarbons or flammable gases into the engine's air intake system. If that occurs, the engine can overrun, overspeed and cause damage to the engine or plant or personnel surrounding it. So the first type of valve we have is a E-series valve. The E-series valve is a mechanical valve that works on air pressure through the engine's air intake system. They are sized accordingly to the horsepower, which, as you can see, we have a small option here and a larger option here. So the way it works, firstly we have the actual valve body here and we have our hose ends on either end. We have a trip adjuster screw at the top and we have a valve spring inside with a valve seat at the outlet side of the valve. When air flows through the valve, pressure is forced onto the valve spring. That valve spring will compress, closing the valve. When the pressure is high enough, the valve spring will be completely compressed, the valve will close. Once that shutdown event is completed and the engine has stopped, the pressure will release, releasing the spring as well. That will open the valve and the engine can be operated again if chosen to do so. The biggest difference between this small valve here in my hands and the larger valve here is the manual cable. This can be mounted external to the engine on a pump, for instance, and can be operated by personnel. So that's the E-series valve. Here we have the F-series valve, and the biggest difference between the two is we have a mechanical valve versus an electrical valve. Upon a overspeed event, the valve will be sent an electrical signal either from the engine or from the operator. That electrical signal will trigger the valve to close and close the butterfly in the center of the valve here. The way that we can see that is if I press this red button here and the valve is now closed. The way that we reset the valve is by turning the screw at the top, which will open the valve back to the normally open position. The valve has an internal micro switch, so an operator can tell whether the valve is open or closed at any time. And the valve body is also IP66 rated for electrical protection as well. All of these valves are manufactured in the UK under ISO 9001, stocked here locally in Perth with a full support system, all the spare parts and support personnel here to help any inquiry you may have.